Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Tech Tip Tuesday. Thank you for joining us today. If anyone has any questions throughout Howard's presentation, please use the GoToWebinar control panel. You'll see a questions tab there, and I'll be monitoring those throughout the presentation, so please feel free to ask away. Today we're going to be talking about hibernating and deleting VPSAs, and Howard will go into best practices on what that means and the right way to do that. So without further ado, here's Howard Young. He's our solutions architect, and he'll show you how to do this.
Well, hello everyone, and today we're going to go over basically what I'm going to call hibernating and deleting VPSAs. But really, what it is, it's scaling down your VPSA. And if I can show the next slide, here we go. Chrissy, you can see my slide, correct?
Yes, I can see it. Scaling down
Okay.
VPSAs.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure everyone can see it.
All good.
Um, so, anyways, there's many ways to scale down your VPSAs. And some of the more common ones that we talk about is migrating your data to different pools and then deleting the drives. So for example, if you're running SSDs and you want to scale down to SATA, you just migrate your volumes on the pools and then delete the pool itself and then delete the drives. That's one way to scale down your VPSA. Another way is just to back up or mirror your data to a different device or object storage. In the case what we provide is backup to S3. So if you no longer need your data, you can store it long term into S3 at a very nominal. I think it's like $0.015 per gigabyte. And if you use the standard infrequent access, and then if you want to go to Glacier for a very long term, you can move that into Glacier. And that's all done through the AWS console, and you just set your policy on the bucket itself. Another way is if you want to move from East Coast to West Coast and then have all your data over there, you just use mirroring, and then the data is moved over there, and then you can delete the VPSA itself. Now, there's two other ways that you can do it. I'll show you this in a demo here. There's a non-destructive hibernating the VPSA. So basically, all your drives are going to be there, but your controllers are going to be shut down. So you won't have access to your VPSAs. What will happen is uh, the controller should shut down, and then when you bring it or restore it, you'll spin up new controllers. So the proper way to do it is when you do that, make sure you have your passwords in hand, because we're going to ask for passwords to access your data if you have any encrypted volumes or shares. And then the destructive way is deleting the VPSA altogether. So we always, in operations, we always create VPSAs and delete VPSAs. And let me show you how to do that. If I get the right screen here, you basically want to log into your portal here. So you have manage VPSA, manage.zadarastorage.com. If you log into that, you have a provisioning portal, and this will allow you to do a couple of things. So let's delete this here, and this basically, as part of the demo, this is all you're gonna see, because once you delete it here, it's gone. So here I already have one in the West Coast, and let's go ahead and delete that. And you come up with here, are you sure you want to delete this? And let's say okay. And what will happen is if we do a refresh, it should be saying updating and deleting. Now, what happens there's a support ticket that gets sent off to our operations team, and it won't get responded on or acted on because it's actually a physical deletion by our operations team. So as a customer, what you'll do, you will get an email from our operations team or from our sales account manager saying, did you really want to press that button? Did you really want to delete it? So it's a double check to make sure that you didn't accidentally press the delete button over here. And once you confirm that, we'll go ahead and delete that VPSA. Now the other way to scale down is, I'll show you here. Let's go
Howard,
back
question
to,
coming in. So what happens if they accidentally delete it and then we send the email and it says, "Did you mean to delete this?" And they say, "No, nothing's lost, right? We just reopen it somehow." Is that how it works?
that's correct. So what we'll do is, your VPSA is not deleted until we get a confirmation. What we'll do is we'll remove the pending order, the deletion order from our system, and then so what will happen is go back to a ready state. You'll still have access to your VPSA even in this deleted pending state.
Okay,
So
great.
nothing, it's still active at this point in time.
Okay.
That's a
And
very
then
good question.
another question, when deleting the VPSA, is there any check done to ensure that the VPA has no active volumes, shares, or client machines? Do we kind of audit what's on the storage, or how does that work?
No, we don't audit any of the access. So if you have any servers connected, uh, what you want to do is you basically want to disconnect or terminate IOs, dismount volumes, because basically you're basically terminating any access to that array. So and that's going to be the same thing if you're going to do any hibernation. So if you hibernate, what will happen is you'll lose access to the arrays because you're actually shutting down the controller at that point. So uh, you'll need to do some work on your side, but in both cases, when you hibernate or delete. Now, when you delete, what will happen is we don't check any volumes, like I said. We're just going to basically um, release all the resources and delete all the drives. Now, if you need to sanitize your data, you need to follow a process where you can actually erase the data on it, because they'll go back into the public domain in many cases in like AWS, and they get reused by other customers. Now the customers won't be able to access your data even though you didn't scrub the data. It's all virtual volume, so they'll never see that data. But if you want to make sure they're completely sanitized, there's a race drive process that you can go through. Now, of course, the best thing to do is have the data encrypted at rest, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, great.
Okay. Were there any other questions? These are really good questions.
Yeah, no, that's it for now. And they say thank you. That was very clear. So if you want to continue on with the rest, that'd be great.
Okay. So now there is a way to scale down. I'll just you can change the engines. So right now we have happens to be the smallest engine that we have. But if it was a 400, I could change the engine. That's another way you can scale down um, your VPSA. So as long as the number of drives you have is less than the maximum, we'll you have the capability scaled down, and basically that will spin up a new controller on the standby side with less CPUs. So that will reduce your cost. So for example, if you're at a basic here and you need to go down to baby, so 400 to a 200 engine, you'll save 50 cents an hour on the price of the VPSA. So that will save quite a bit. Now, the other way is to actually hibernate your VPSA, and let's go ahead and hibernate that. And what that's going to do is it's going to shut down the engine. So the drives, you're still paying for the drives, and your data stays present, but you won't have access to it. So we have a lot of customers. They'll use a VPSA during the week, and then the weekend they'll shut it down because they don't need it. We have some customers they use it for development. They'll run it for a couple of weeks and they'll shut it down for 6 months. And the important thing is what will happen is you need to make sure that your volume, if you have any volumes that are encrypted, you need to make sure you have passwords. So if you come back 6 months from now, you go, oh well, what was the password? you need to make sure you do that. So uh, if you don't have like a password manager, I use LastPass here, which is really good, and
And I
you can
use
use other.
1Password, which I like too. So there's a lot out there, and if you have any questions on them, you can email Howard or myself. So
Yeah, I use that, and I use RoboForm. Um, whatever works for you. They're very very good at storing passwords. Now, what will happen here when I press the OK? It'll go ahead and hibernate it. Now, this doesn't require any action by our operations team. So this is going to go and spin it down automatically. So if I do, let's see what it says. It should be saying it's hibernating. And then once it's done, it'll come back and say it's hibernated. And then to restore, you just press the restore button and it'll go ahead and restore the VPSA.
question
So that
coming
was
in,
the
Howard. When hibernating a VPSA, you still have to pay for drives per hour, but do not pay for controllers per hour. Is that correct?
that's correct. So just to clarify that, there's two components on your VPSA. So when you created a VPSA, you select the engine, and then there's a cost per hour. So in a 200 engine, it's 49 cents an hour. That's roughly $350 or so per month. And there's also a drive cost. So if you had 12 terabytes of data, which would be something like this, it's $1.29. So if that'll go from $1.29 to a dollar or 80 cents, I think. Yeah, 80 cents an hour. So you won't get charged for this. And that's what you're saving is the engine cost here. But because we're saving your data on the physical drives, you're charged for the actual use of the drives.
Great, that makes sense. I have another question about billing in regards to the deletion of a VPSA. So the question is, when you delete your VPSA and say the customer doesn't respond for a few days, they're out of town or they're away from their computer in meetings, to confirm the actual deletion, when does the billing physically stop? So at what point do we, between the point of deletion and the confirmation, at what point does the billing stop?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So what will happen is you'll get charged for the next hour. So here it's 7:13 p.m. on in this AWS instance, but 11:13 and in the East West Coast here. You'll get charged up to the next hour, and then after that, you're not charged for it. So um, we know that sometimes you'll have like an admin delete it, and then usually what we do is we really go to the owner of the account. So your boss may get the email. He may be he may be on a trip or something, doesn't respond, for example. We know that happens all the time, but you're charged when you press the button on the next tick of the hour. So you'll get charged for the partial hour, of course, but uh, but it
Okay,
always stops when you press the button.
thanks for clarifying that. No
So
further
here you
questions
go.
now, so go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so here we go. It's here we have it finally went to hibernated state, and my VPSA is still pending deletion. Now, if I text my DevOps team to confirm that, and they'd go ahead and delete it, but that won't get deleted. But until I do that.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw the email came in as we were going here, and it says Howard submitted the VPSA Howard test for hibernation, and Howard submitted for deletion. So it's all in real time, which is really awesome, and our ops team is really responsive to that. So um, have no fear when hibernating or deleting. Everyone's right there and willing and ready to help.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, we monitor that all the time, 24/7. So that pretty much sums it up for the demo. Um, here's some contact information. And Christy, I don't know if you want to go through this here.
Yeah, so if you have any follow-up questions specifically about your instances, or if it's your first time doing this and you want assistance from Howard or myself, please email Howard at zadarastorage.com or support at zadarastorage.com. If that way it goes to everyone, so it's jumped on very, very quickly. If you have any suggestions on future topics, the bit.ly Ask Me Anything, we capture different topics from all of our customers, partners, and whoever has anything that they'd like to learn. Please let us know. Additionally, the other bit.ly, Zadara Video, is our YouTube channel. And I encourage you to go there and subscribe. We upload all of these videos. We record all these sessions and upload them to YouTube, so that if you miss one, or if you had to drop off, or for whatever reason couldn't make it, or just didn't have the time, we have all of our recordings there. And it's we have our own Tech Tip Tuesday playlist, so it's really easy to find. So if you go to the bit.ly here, /Zadara Video, it'll take you to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe and get those updates. And then, of course, we're always updating our LinkedIn and Twitter and that with videos and other pieces of collateral that and blogs that are helpful for you guys in your Zadara cloud knowledge. So that'll be it for today. We'll catch you next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us today, and have a great rest of the day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thanks again.